Hello and welcome back from the Dragon's Rest. I'm already in position so we can start the boss fight. So I don't know, hopefully we won't be stuck that much, but we're gonna have to do it anyway, so let's not waste any more time.
Round two.
Three, technically.
Oh,
The first one was where I tried to summon. Again, I learned my lesson and I think it's best if I just, do not summon. Because I'm actually dealing a decent amount of damage and, even with their sight. Although it's more of an X more than anything. But I can seem to be dealing decent amount of damage nonetheless. And my shield is good enough. It's more like her magic that's been annoying. And the real pain in the ass happens when she starts summoning the Velstad clone. Otherwise, the skeletons are fine. There we go. I also need to pay attention to what their kind of magic that she uses, because if she detonates like that, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. Like this. Yeah, I need to watch out where she actually lands her magic before healing. Alright then. The tracking towards her position is not too much of a problem because she's not really that far from a bonfire, but it's more the actually getting there. It's a staple of the Soul series, and I've seen it worse in terms of going back to the boss from the bonfire, but it's still a bit of a pain. Let's try to avoid also the knights here. There we go. Let's also use these to move our gems. We still have plenty of consumables that can help us for this, so we should be good to go. The thing is that she's not the final boss of the DLC, so we need to be careful. I think the boss after her should be still doable, but one thing at a time. You might have noticed that her singing throughout the entire level was actually her doing. There is a bigger reason. Oh my god, she's summoning the Velstad clone immediately. There is a bigger reason why she's, labeled as queen and connected to. Fuck me. And connected to what's going on right now. Holy shit. But one thing at a time, because it's connected also to the bigger lore of the game. What you need to remember is that characters in the game have told us already that King Vendrick married Nashandra when she came from a distant land, and instead Vendrick's memory, when we examined this corpse, told us that instead there were our three kings which also shared similar, marriages. One we already, saw what happened to him, and that was the old Iron King, which was such an idiot in his barbarism that had his entire fortress collapse in the middle of lava. Another one is the king of this place, but we haven't seen anything yet, And another one is the third DLC that we haven't even begun yet. So, one thing at a time. Admittedly, I'm a bit more hold on. Yeah, I'm a bit more at the mercy of RNGesus when it comes to her summoning, because if she stick to the skeletons, I'm fine. But when she gets, the Velstad clone, all bets are off. It's not even that it's that hard to dispatch, but it's still annoying nonetheless. Basically operates on the whole school of doom of never stay still. Especially with these explosions. And of course the explosions do not damage the unit that she summons. We wouldn't want, too much of an advantage, would we? Thankfully, thanks to the equipment that I do possess, you know, conserving my stamina and recharging it is actually fair enough. Huh. There we go, number 2. Oh, actually, I think I destroyed all 3 of them. Nope, there's the 3rd one. Huh. And there's the Velstad clone. Let's see if I can make it. She doesn't even have that much health. Let's see, maybe if I can actually focus on just her. Huh. Huh. Ow. There we go. Count. Jesus.
What's the line of the stupid queen?
I mean, squalid is still a pejorative, but it more represents a decay, you know, rather than, you know, lack of intelligence. Okay, more than decay, also decadence, more likely, because otherwise, really, like it's still themed with it's still properly with the themes of a poison, themes of a level, but I guess it's still applicable, especially considering what ultimately is, there you go, is attached to these queens. Like I said, there's a bigger narrative going on that we don't know yet. And I forgot if the game actually tells properly, otherwise I'll just explain during the credits anyway. Fuck! Barely made it. I hate these explosions. Alright. Thankfully the shield that I have is actually pretty good. If you actually haven't, you know, haven't seen it yet, it's supposed to be a Havel shield, which weighs a ton, but actually allows me to have a huge protection, valor protection.
Come on, die already.
Yeah. Well, it can be applicable to both. 2 men, 2 people enter, 1 leaves. That doesn't count the summons.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'd have loved to have seen what would have happened if in the Thunderdome it was a case of 2 men enter, no one leaves.
Oh my god, she's summoning another Velstad clone again. Sorry, leaves. Go on.
Like if they just, what would they do if they both just died?
Draw?
Yeah, a draw. You're both dead. Oh well, next.
Shit happens.
Yeah. In this case, they're both here.
In the wise words of Warriors of Virtue. Shit happens.
Are you gonna say Warriors of the Wind?
No, I think we already did this kind of joke beforehand. That actually reminds me of something, but go on, Waves, sorry. I'll say later.
We're repeating the boss, so it makes sense to repeat things we've already said.
That reminds me, I don't know if you checked the voice cast, because what I'm recording this has been just announced. I don't know if you've seen the voice cast for The Boy and the Heron, but apparently Robert Pattinson plays the titular Heron, which means he gets to be not exactly typecasted. The closest I can compare it to is... hold on, sorry. The closest I can compare it to is his role in The Lighthouse, which, if you haven't seen it, it's kind of a blast. But it's kind of really weird compared to even stuff like he did in The Batman. So So there is that.
Well, I have got the voice cast up actually.
Go on while I get my ass
Um,
kicked.
Okay, for the role of Mahito Maki, he's
The
voiced by
protagonist.
Luca Padovan, whose previous voice role was playing a guy named Jet in a TV show called Super Wings.
Okay, I never heard about it. Sure, I'm fine with that.
Robert Pattinson, who we mentioned earlier, is the Grey Heron. Lady Himi is voiced by Karen Fukuhara, who's previously been in stuff like the Callisto Protocol, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, the one from 2018. And she was also Katana in the Suicide Squad.
Sure. I guess she finally got someone's back.
Yeah. Shuichi Maki is voiced by Christian Bale, returning from Howl's Moving Castle.
So we have two
Natsuko...
Batmans in these. Interesting.
Yeah. Natsuko is voiced by Gemma Chan, who's been in... well, most recently she was in 2 MCU films. The Eternals and Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of voice acting, she was Quintessa in Transformers The Last Night, and more recently Namari and Raya and the Last Dragon. And the Parakeet King is played by Dave Bautista.
Batista's in everything these days, damn.
Yeah, he was last in stuff like Gears 5, where he played himself.
For the
Trip
multiplayer,
Tank.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the SmackDown vs. War games and so on. The Noble Pelican is voiced by Willem Dafoe, returning from that movie I keep
So
forgetting
William
the
Dafoe and
last
Robert
keep forgetting.
Pattinson are reunited after The Lighthouse in the same movie. Interesting.
Oh, right, he was in Tales from Earthsea.
Mm-hmm.
He's also been in stuff like the 2017 Death Note, Finding Nemo and Dory, John Carter.
From Mars.
John Carter. No, it's just called John Carter, remember?
I didn't know. I didn't
James. He was even in a James Bond video game, James Bond Everything or Nothing, where he played Nikolai Diavolo.
Diavolo, okay.
Kiriko is voiced by Florence Pugh. She's in that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, The Trident, which is a short movie, and the actual movie itself. She voiced Goldilocks in that film.
Mm-hmm.
The Grand Uncle, voiced by Mark Hamill.
Once again, another returning for a Ghibli role.
Yeah, he was in Nausicaa.
So it's basically a family reunion for people who already voice acted for Ghibli roles. So that's interesting.
Yeah, he was in Nausicaa. He was in Castle in the Sky. I'm not sure if there's been another one. Let me check.
Well, what is Liam Neeson also in this to complete all of that?
No. Unfortunately. Who else? Obviously, he's the Joker, Luke Skywalker, and Fire Lord Ozai.
Again, the major joke is that aside from Luke Skywalker and maybe one or two other roles, Mark Hamill is being mostly typecasted as the villain and stuff. Again, the one episode of Murder, She Wrote where he was guest in, he turned out to be the killer. Like, what are the fucking odds?
Was he voicing Joker at that point?
No, well, okay, no, because Murder, She Wrote spanned from... Okay, to be fair, it could have been possible, because Murder, She Wrote spanned from the 80s till the 90s with a few, not necessarily revival, but a few continuation movies in the early 2000s.
Yeah, they ran till 2003.
But I don't remember in which specific season he showed up. I think it's one of the early ones. You have to understand, Waves, even with people like me or Pushing Up Roses being super fan, there's a very good chance that we can't remember specifically all of the seasons and and where exactly each episode actually stand. It's more of a case when one pops up on TV, it's like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this one, but I cannot tell you for saving my life, what it is.
And the parakeets have 3 voices. Dan Stevens, who's been in stuff like The Sea Beast, The Prince, and he's also a returning Ghibli actor. He was in Earwig and the Witch.
I mean, fair enough. Again, everything
Thomas
counts. Oh my god, enough
Yeah,
summoning on top of
even
other summoning.
even the really shitty Ghibli films.
Again, Dweebs, when it comes to...
Mamoru
Sorry, go on.
Mamoru Afi, who was Wade Ripple in Elemental, and Tony Revolori, who was in Monster High and OKKO.
Monster High, in case you... Monster High, in case you don't know, is actually a video game where basically it's not necessarily a parody because it still plays straight when it comes to gameplay, but it's you know, an affectionate love letter to dating sims, particularly in this case school, but the joke is that everyone is, you know, a different type of monster. And they got a couple of, you know, a couple of internet mostly, you know, voice actors, like a good chunk of Team 4-Star is there, Igor Raptor is there for your delight, and I think someone else, but I can't remember exactly whom. It's a fun ride for what you want to do. If you're a fan of the genre.
I think Team 4-Star, I'm not sure how recent, but I think Team 4-Star actually made an official English dub of something recently.
It's a bit generic as a statement, Libs, so I don't know what can you refer to.
I did say something, so I'm just trying to look into what it is.
Because each of them, you know, has actually officially voice acting in some capacity in somewhere, so there is that.
Yes, need to look it up.
Okay, skeletons, good.
They did a show called Hells.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but
Me neither.
they did it. So.
I know that Unabridged is basically on its way out if it isn't done already, and it basically it basically asked it basically asked you know, one person. Completely separate, you know, YouTuber that was doing a retrospective of DBZ to have some snippet voiced by them on the Boo Saga to have that finally covered.
Oh.
Yeah, oh. Unfortunately, we're kind of stuck there, so we need to actually get there until we...
Oh, this is mandatory.
Well, okay, mandatory for the DLC, but
okay.
Yes.
Okay, it's called Hell's Angels, the anime. That's the
what?
full name.
That's okay. I have to say it's kind of rather generic as a title.
It's it was a manga that was apparently really violent, raunchy, and one of the more subversive ones. It was set in a high school, literally set in hell, with ghouls and monsters for students.
Oh, so it's basically kind of like what Monster High tried to do, but not as a parody.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Team 4-Star had to outright and Discotheque Media, who licensed the movie. They had to come out and say it was not a gag dub or anything, which is what they normally do.
Well, might as well, because otherwise people will get the wrong impression, you know. And Lord knows the internet already tends to do that already. I forgot exactly what what release date does The Boy and the Heron has in your country, Dweebs?
Sorry, what was that?
What is the release date in theaters that The Boy and the Heron has in your country?
Boxing Day.
Right, 26.
Oh, so that's gonna be a probably terrible opening day, I guess.
I can tell you, Shiri, that in my country...
Depends how hungover the anime fans are.
I can tell you,
Right.
I can tell you, Shiri, that more people when people goes to see movies in cinemas at that day rather than the one that it's coming out in my country, which is 1st of January. And like, more people prefer, you know, to go around Christmas Day rather than 1st of January because that's precisely the reason why Star Wars Episode 7 was important to actually be released around that point, because originally it was supposed to actually come out later, you know, because in favor of one of our stupid comedy movies that are not really funny, you know, but they make boomers laugh, so I guess that will count. So people actually ask protest online in order to change that, and we got that. Sure, you can argue, oh, in hindsight it wasn't really that much of a call because the sequel trilogy is bad, but you know, for when the movie came out, it was kind of important. I understand why we did that, especially because you know, it was stupid as a move to begin with. So, but unfortunately, it seems that they kind of lost that kind of tracking because, you know, something like The Boy and the Arrow kind of deserves better to come out around Christmas Day than in early January. Ah. I don't know if these days early January is still considered box office poison for the rest of the year, but might as well. Ah, Jesus. Why I can't focus enough? And I mean, you know, lock on. Might as well, since you have been hearing it for a while, but what do you think of the boss theme? It's a boss theme.
Yeah.
Still Motoi Sakuraba, so that's pretty cool. But ow. Okay, skeletons, good. I actually managed to give her enough damage. See, if it wasn't for the stupid summoning mechanic, it probably still would be a decent enough boss fight, but no, we kinda need to... Shit!
Yeah, that falling over animation looked like it just tripped on a rock.
It's more like, no, it's like running out of an explosion. Get down, Mr. President!
Dark Souls 4 is actually set in America after the presidential assassination.
That's more like The Division with... okay, I'm half joking, but the other half still, you know, resonates. Oh my god, stop with the Velstad close! For fuck's sake! Go on.
Shit around here lately. How's it been over there?
Not really that much better, I can tell you that. Alright, fuck this shit.
So, did you say this boss was mandatory?
Yes.
Okay,
No, like I said, not much better, but in general has been pretty crappy. I don't know because I don't know if you heard it, Weebs, but they have been releasing a lot of state of emergencies here in my country, unfortunately, with tied to the weather. I hope it's not the same here where to you.
We have a couple of named storms.
I mean, I know that it's... Sorry, go on.
I would read a story, but they could all get us in trouble for copyright.
How? Like, I'm not sure you can describe it to me, I guess.
Any, really.
Might as well actually, you know, letting you... Since we actually got a snippet of it, I might as well tell you a bit more the lore of the place. Why not? If you remember, there was the dragon at the beginning, you know, the one that we thought we saw. And if you noticed, it's all green, pale, all poison stuff and everything, you know. And we found a bunch of... Fuck, close, so close. And we found a bunch of knights that were basically dragon cultists, you know. But the set tells us that they actually got too close to the dragon. And as a result, one of them basically... Hold on. Fuck you! Fuck you! There we go. Oh, that sleeper. And one of them got too close and perforating his skin released its blood. Except it wasn't blood, it was poison. And by defeating Elana, open sesame, the door opens. And since it perforated the skin, the dragon, unfortunately, which was worshipped by the entire city, you know, basically coated it in poison, ruining all the inhabitants and and also the assailant. There we go. So yeah, we kind of basically get one boss after the other, but the good news is that this is the last of them. So let's see if we can actually see Abbess Fiva, people who can help us, and Transcendent Eddie? I don't know. I'm gonna try again, you know, for this first time to actually summon to see if it can work. So, but, ladies and gentlemen, behold! In a second. The dragon that we saw at the beginning.
This dragon I know.
Sin, the slumbering dragon. Okay, to be fair, not doing that much damage, but if I remember correctly, the moveset that this guy is doable. Yeah, fair enough. It's more about keep raising my shield. Obviously his fire... Ow. His fire actually deals poison damage, so I need to actually be careful about that. But otherwise, this is technically a bit better than Elana. It just has a bit more health of anything.
Sin.
With an H at the end, yes.
So sin.
I guess that's the pronunciation.
Maybe.
I need to actually be careful also because the fireballs, like I said, release poison, but they actually get a couple of poison clouds that stay for a bit. Whoa. Thankfully, the two add-ons that I do have for this fight are naturally resistant to both poison and fire, so I'm good to go. Again, it's doable. I just need to have more patience, and thankfully, there are no add-ons like in the previous boss fight. Unfortunately, again, as a general rule of thought for these DLCs, let me try this next round alone. Otherwise, I'll just summon again. The general thought of these DLCs is that they operate on old school, as in, since they were released after the game was done, you know, they assume that the people who actually go through them will have completed the game, or at the very least have enough of an experienced baggage to do it. So of course, it can actually catch people off guard if they actually started early, especially because they're put in that kind of zone.
Patience is the name of the game here.
Let me also loot this corpse while I'm at it. York's Ring. I'll get to it in a second. In case I die in this one. You! I love the vaulting that this guy does. Again, admittedly, despite, you know, the fantasy setting and everything, we haven't faced too many dragons in both the previous and this game. A couple, yes, like Siv the Scaleless, but not a lot of them.
Is petting this one how you got in this situation? Or,
nope. No,
okay.
This one is evil. Well, not evil, but you know, frenzied to begin with. If you, I know it's constant movement, but if you pay attention, eventually you will see that this guy has a chest stuck in his body, and that's where the poison came from. I forgot if you were. I did not know if you were here while I explained, but essentially the lore of the place is that the Drakeblood Knights, which are again dragon cultists, invaded the place, which he said was worshipping this dragon, you know, and keeping it as a friend, and tried to actually stab in order to drink its blood, because again, dragon cultists. Unfortunately, this dragon was poison themed, so perforating its skin meant basically that, you know, an entire cloud of poison spewed all over the city, condemning it, including the assailant. It's a very tragic tale when you get down to it, and that's also why the king of this place perished, you know. Ouch. Need to actually calibrate better the timing. I think it's best if I actually keep adding people, you know, in case I die, which is very likely.
Yeah, you know what this fight needs? More people.
Same dudes! I'm in a fight! I need more men!
So did everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone!
It's funny, have you actually seen Leon, please? Aside from
no.
I know that in English it's called, like, I think The Professional or something. And I think the original...
Leon the Professional.
I think Leon, just Leon, which was the original title, works for the better. It's more...
Although in the UK, it's called Leon without the figure of the E.
It's probably... I guess it's it is to be read with the English pronunciation rather than the French one.
Yeah, I don't think we added the Professional in it.
I think that was just basically the American release. Again, I don't know the logic behind that, because I guess they thought the marketability was, you know, working better for that way, but I don't know. Again, the movie in itself, while being a thriller, it still has its elements that are, like, not really great, especially, you know, the years passed by with Luc Besson, when it comes to Luc Besson, but the minis are still worthy at the very least. Alright, round 3, and let's keep the add-on. Sure, I will not do as much damage, but it will keep the boss occupied, again, as bait. Actually, let me use this time to actually check the lore of the ring that we just acquired. Where is it? Yorg's ring, there you go. Ring of Sir Yorg, who sought the blood of a dragon and invaded Shulva. Candleflag spell. When Sir Yorg faced Sin, the slumbering dragon, he drew blood with a flash of his steel, but Sin responded by spewing forth the poison that had long brewed within him, blanketing the city in a miasmic cloud. So yeah, very tragic.
And now the people living in that city can't see shit.
Well, they died more like and became basically zombies.
Well, hey, it's still true.
Suppose.
Yeah, they can't breathe. Why? Because they're dead.
Well, then I said see, not.
And people die when they're killed, you know?
Of course.
Of course. Is that was from a fan sub, wasn't it?
Either that, yeah, I think definitely, because most of that, most of the memes similar to that, that's where they come from. Like just according to Keikaku, when it came to the original Death Note anime.
Speaking of where that came from, I have tried to watch the the first Fate anime.
Ha! Dweebs, you're basically doing disservice to yourself, because even people on the internet who, you know, are fans of Fate can tell you that there's never really a good place where to start consuming Fate media.
Well, the first one that aired.
Sure, I guess that's a good point, but there was a chronology. Things are a bit fucked up at the moment. You actually had better chances to play Fate Go on mobile and again to understand better what's going on. But go on.
And I'm one of the main characters. Okay, well, just try to understand it. I think I got like 2-3 episodes in at one point, but I had to pause for some reasons. I can't remember what exactly.
You had one of the main important part that you paused.
I mean, one of the main characters being a tsundere doesn't help.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I cannot remember her name. The girl with the black hair.
I think it's Rin.
Yeah, Rin. There you go. Yeah. I forgot, was that done by Madhouse in terms of studio, or was that Ufotable?
Well, I know, I think one of them was done by Ufotable, but for the other ones...
I know that Madhouse worked on one of them, but I forgot if it's like one of the series, one of the OVAs.
Well, the 2006 anime was done by Studio Dean.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Then there was an OVA called Fate/Prototype by Lurch. Little less shitty, I don't know how you pronounce it. And there's a whole bunch of other ones, but I can't get into that too much at the minute because, well, there's a lot of them.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, the consuming Fate media is an exercise in itself.
Yeah, I know Unlimited Blade Works was done by Ufotable. The studio that can make great animation by not paying their taxes.
Is that like made by Uwe Ball?
Well, I mean, remember they've been accused.
No, it was
of,
made by Yoshi, clearly.
Yeah, because there was a huge tax evasion scandal, and one of the guys who was behind it, he was sentenced to 20 months in prison, but the sentence was suspended for 3 years.
Wow. Sounds a bit like my jurisdictional system, unfortunately.
Well,
I forgot if I ever mentioned that during Ace Attorney run, but it's kind of sad that for as dystopic as it is, at the initial state of the Ace Attorney jurisdictional system is probably a better thing that was going on right now in other countries, including mine.
Well, they're making a Genshin Impact series.
Hold on. And there you go, third try. Woohoo! And with that, folks, we get the Soul of Sin, the Slumbering Dragon. And, touching that red orb, the crown of the Sunken King. Our first out of 3 crowns. A fate heat lingers in the ancient crown. So let's get a look at our spoils, shall we? Let's see, first off, the souls that we gathered. First, the soul of Elana, the Squalid Queen, who rests beside the slumbering dragon of the Eternal Sanctum. This child of dark accompanies the dragon, slowly amassing souls in anticipation of the coming day of vengeance. The wondrous soul of his augural wrath can be used to acquire numerous souls, or to create basically a weapon or a spell. When it comes to Sin, Soul of Sin, the dragon, who lives in the lowermost depths of his land. The king erected a magnificent city, and the dragon slept soundly, until Sir York disturbed it with a single great strike, and the dragon could bear its store of poison no longer. The reign of death toppled the city, but restored the dragon's purity. The wondrous soul of this dragon can be used to acquire more souls or to gain something of great worth. Again, it's overall a very tragic tale, as is custom to the Soul series. But nevertheless, patience is rewarded, and just in time, because I just noticed right now my sword almost broke. So I was going through this fight for a very long while. So since a bit of time, we still have a bit of time remaining, let's use this to get a sneak peek, shall we, to the next DLC. And in order to do that, we need to get back to the Iron Keep, our favorite place. There we go. This is a bonfire that I locked off screen, but it's actually, get us close to the place where we fought the Iron King. Let's see, I forgot. There you go, I'm supposed to go here. Well, past this turtle guy. Come on, I don't have all day. There you go, thank you. Now here's hoping that this lava doesn't fuck up the stream, because I've been noticing that fire effects have been very detrimental. That's one of the reasons why I stopped streaming in 60 FPS, because it has been constantly a problem. But anyway, if you forgot, behind the arena where we fought the old Iron King, there was the Primal Bonfire, where he spoke also to Aldia. And another one of these altars. Forbidden is the path to the ancient king's domain. With water dry and path amiss, woeful temptation is dismissed. In the tower of the old Iron King resides a child of dark. Trespassers will face adversity, befit a monarch. Hey, that rhymes, I guess.
It's monarch.
Well,
No, it doesn't rhyme.
prose, I guess.
Prose, more like poser.
Alright, and we reach another one of these. Oh, hold on, let me check.
Or is it prosy?
I forgot exactly what's the. I think these are used for the PvP, but again, it's not of our concern. So let's instead open the door.
Oh, there's someone to watch some work.
Jesus, it's so heavy. And by using this elevator,
Yeah, because how heavy the door was to open, I thought it was going to turn out to be a trap like in Saw in a video game.
it
So
would have
sometimes
been.
open a door and
There's a shotgun behind it. And again, good visuals. We are. I think the text is gonna pop up at any second now, but still a new area. Okay, first of all, let's do this. A smelter wedge, 6 smelter wedges. Let me actually go to check them. There they are. An iron wedge forged in this land destroys the Ashen Idol. The Ashen Idol is of great consequence to Nadalia, who, having renounced her flesh, entrusts her very being to it. Essentially, think of them as wooden pickets, wooden stakes to use against a vampire. Now I need to actually move very carefully across the chain. Holy shit. Ugh. I'm trying very hard to not fall. There we go. The Broom Tower. And in thus at the heart of the industry of the entire kingdom of Drang Lake. So let's do some minimal progress forward and then we can close out.
Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering if there's any Twitch news out there,
Okay.
It's been a day since recording, so like no movies, I guess.
I had my car's brake fluid changed.
Anyway, by using
Woo!
the smelter wedge onto these idols that otherwise will constantly spew firestorms, we literally stake these demons and let them crumble.
Toasty.
By getting a piece of the soul of Nadalia, the Bride of Ash. Let's see if we can have already a fragment. There it is. Oops. Pardon.
It is snowing, so toasted things.
Unfortunately,
fits very well.
that's not snow, Shiri. That's ash.
Is it ash?
Yes.
Okay.
Soul of Nadalia, Bride of Ash, who renounced her flesh and wandered Broom Tower. When Nadalia came to this land, the king she sought was no longer there. Dispirited, she forsook her own soul and clung to the heirlooms of the old king. This is only a fragment of a soul and cannot be used in this state. Don't worry, Nadalia.
So, ash bowl fight? If that's possible.
Well, I guess so. I mean, ashes are good as fertilizer too, so you never discard anything. But also, don't worry, Nadalia, the king was a douche. You really didn't miss anything. Like, the guy was just an asshole. But yeah, basically this dungeon is super vertical, an entire tower. I'm going to get an austerity ring. Visions of boss. The entire goal is to get at the bottom of the tower, basically. And in order to do so, there will be obviously many enemies and more of those, you know, demon-like effigies that we need to use the stake towards. So let's see, going down here. Oh, I could have just gone from here. Oh well. Again, we're doing this in the order that they were released, but you can technically, as if you're feeling confident, you can go in the order that you prefer into which of them. Arguably, the third one that they released is still very tough, so it's best if we actually keep it for last, the Crown of the Ivory King. Actually reminds me, I haven't checked yet the Crown of the Sunken King equipment, so let's give it a look-see. Whoops, I keep fucking up with the item, with the buttons. There you go. Crown of a Sunken King who once ruled the land of Shulva. The king erected the eternal sanctum below the earth to worship the great dragon, but the towering bulwark crumbled with the city shortly after the dragon's awakening. But these were the events of long ago, and today no one even remembers the king's name. And neither we will actually know, unfortunately. But yeah, the entire gimmick of this place also, well, fire and ash, including the soldiers which literally erupt from the ash. They're easy to handle, but they can actually deal a lot of damage. In the true fashion of the old Iron King, you know, things that do beat hard, but you know, can still be dispatched. Visions of Bloodstain, yep, they sure are. The trick is to try to actually single out them, because they will start to try to get in groups towards you. If you have good, you know, area of attacks, you know, you can actually try to handle them, but it's never recommended. There we go. And from here we get rogue water, and we can get a sneak peek of one of them, one of the demon effigies behind here. Also, you tried to ambush me, didn't work. Like I said, in terms of stats, we're actually very good to go. We don't really need to raise them up too much. I will still, in between parts, try to exploit the farming trick in order to, you know, actually potentially experiment with some equipment to see if there's something else that we can use. But for the most part, we're actually good to go with the equipment that we have. A scythe +7. The cool thing about this place is that it provides a lot of high tier equipment, but we don't really need it. Especially the scythe kinda sucks in this game, unfortunately. Chest ahead and then chest. I mean, yeah, I guess.
So you're telling me there's a chest ahead?
Amazing.
Great.
Chest ahead, specifically.
Interesting.
Also more Titanized labs, which serves to reinforce the equipment. If I recall correctly, under these we start to get some more annoying enemies. First of all, let me stake this. Thankfully, again, during these animations, you don't really have a problem in being ganked, even if you're ganked, you know, because the important part is to use to stake these as soon as you see them, because otherwise, you know, they will start either healing the enemies, or actually start damaging you with a Firestorm spell. So you need to actually watch out. Shink.
Shame you can't jump on them.
I could, but I would have received too much of a falling damage to actually go through, unfortunately. If there is an opportunity like that, Dweebs, trust me, I will take it. Like backstabbing, like this. Alright, if I recall correctly, this lever opens this door. which leads outside. I mean, it's good
Attacking
vision.
from behind. Attacking from behind. The mark of a true warrior.
To be fair, Dweebs, these enemies are not really particularly versed in the hearts of chivalry. I don't think I can jump off from here.
I don't think fighting fair is the name of this game.
Alright, we can use this point, even if I don't return to the bonfire, we can use this point to stop. So, tune in next time, where we start exploring more and more of a Broom Tower. So see you for that.
See ya.